I'm Al McGlashan. I'm an underwater photographer, a doco maker and a mad keen fisherman. I've had a fascination with the world beneath the waves since I was a kid. Now I've been told fishing is boring, but I tell you what, if you're doing it that way, you're doing it wrong. Fishing is a fun and healthy pastime that gets us into the great outdoors with our family and friends. It's really diverse and we can catch anything from swordfish to brim. Now, while I love catching and releasing fish, I also love eating them. And one of the best eating fish is whiting, especially the King George whiting. There are more than a dozen species of whiting found in Australian waters, but there are only a couple that are important to recreational fishing. The sand whiting, the yellowfin whiting, and the biggest of them all, the King George whiting. None of these species grow particularly large, but they're great performers on light tackle and a lot of fun to catch.
Hello, big boy.
Whiting master! Whiting are an inshore species, especially in our bays and harbours and estuaries, and even along our beaches, which makes them really accessible for everyone. And while whiting are considered a summertime fish, they are actually prevalent right through winter. Now, my favourite whiting has to be the King George whiting, or KGs as they're often called, and they're found right around the southern half of this country. They are the biggest of the whiting, reaching more than 50 centimetres in length, and are the true elbow slappers, because when you hold one behind the head, its tail will slap your elbow. And they are living proof that good things come in small packages. The great thing with whiting, you get a really good return rate for a fillet. Whiting are a demersal species, which means they hunt on the sandy bottom for their favourite food, which is any kind of marine worm. But they also love prawns and nippers, squid and cockles, and even mussels. Now, as you can see, whiting have a really small mouth, so you need a small hook. So a size 2 right through to a size 6 will work, but a number 4 or size 4 is the best option. When it comes to hooks, everyone used to use the long shank, but today the best hook is the circle hook, wide gape or shiner, whatever you call them, they're the same hook. They may look strange, but they work really well, and they nearly always hook the fish in the corner of the mouth and not in the guts. This makes it much better for unhooking them, and most importantly, if you want to release them. The important trick with circle hooks is to make sure you don't cram the bait onto the hook. Instead, push the bait up the shank towards the eye to leave that hook point fully exposed. And remember, most importantly, with all circle style hooks, never strike. Always just lift the rod whenever you get a bite and let it load up until you've got weight, and then just start whiting. It's that easy. There's no need for fancy rigs when it comes to whiting. The ideal line for whiting fishing will have a rated strength between 2 and 5 kilos. A simple paternoster with 1 or 2 droppers will catch whiting in literally every scenario, from the beach or the boat. Run about 40 to 50 centimetres a line between your hook and the swivel. That way, your bait will waft naturally in the current. Whiting will take lures as well, especially sand whiting, but it does require a bit of extra finesse. Soft plastics, vibes, and even small prawn imitation topwater lures will all catch whiting. It's a challenging way to fish, but it really is an exciting style. Like always, visit your local tackle store for the latest information on where the whiting are biting and the best spots to fish. The best rods for the job is somewhere between 1.8 and 2.5 metres long, with the longer rods obviously being better for beach or land-based fishing. A 2.5 to 4,000 size reel is absolutely perfect for the job. Spooled up with 6 to 20 pound braid and you're ready for action. And remember, whiting outfits don't have to cost a lot to catch your fish. One last tip I can offer about the rod is that it has all the information on the spine. Most rods will have a line strength rating and best casting weights for sinkers and lures. Look for one that's rated around 2 to 4 kilos in most cases for whiting. Whiting favour sand flats, where there's an abundance of food. One of the best places to find them are in seagrass beds that are broken up with patches of sand or light rubble. You don't need a fish finder to locate whiting. Instead, all you need to do is just look over the side and find those sand patches. And for that, you need a good pair of Polaroids. Good starting points for fishing are channel edges weed beds and man-made structure like marinas or oyster leases. The great thing about whiting is they like shallow water, and in some cases you'll even catch them in less than a metre of water. The tide plays a major role in the movements of all whiting. With most of their food up on the shallow floods, whiting take advantage of the rising tide and move up into the newly flooded areas to feed. In deeper water, the tide change triggers the bite, especially in deeper channels and bays. Whiting are a schooling fish, and once you find them, the bite can be fast and furious, and that's especially for King George. Whiting are sensational on the plate, so if you're going to keep some, just make sure you know the current rules for bag and size limits. And remember, only take what you need and carefully release any undersized fish or those you want to let go. You'll be surprised just how strong they really are. Whiting are such a great fish. They don't have teeth or spikes, so they're easy to handle. Well, sort of. But best of all, they're delicious to eat, and I guarantee you're going to be hit with the whole family when you bring some home for dinner. So now you know how to catch whiting. Be warned, they're a lot of fun. Remember, fishing is a game of patience. You have to earn your results. Some days are harder than others, but that's what makes it all worth the effort. So what are you waiting for? Join 3 million other Aussies that love the great outdoors and fishing in this awesome country of ours. Now, just one more cast.